as India has moved from 10th largest economy to 5th largest economy, and even our critics accept that we'll become third largest economy.
Digitization, innovation, of course, technology. So you cannot say new age businesses without using the word technology. You cannot say technology without artificial intelligence. Everybody today is, using it, is being affected by it in one way or the other. I think the most natural transition is into FinTech, because that's one area where India is growing leaps and bounds. It's been around for the last 10 years, but the last 3-4 years, the pace at which different companies are entering this market has increased.
In the new age businesses, casualties will be very, very high. This is a business where winner takes it all.
Hello and welcome to Investments Ki Baatein with Nilesh Shah. This is a podcast series where we discuss everything to do with money, markets, investments, and much more, so you can get the knowledge that will help you build a portfolio that will create wealth for yourself and for your future generations. And keeping that in mind, in today's episode, we are going to be discussing what's the next big thing in investments. Markets have rallied, but what will be those new age businesses that will attract money and take the markets even higher? Let's discuss this with Nilesh Shah, the Managing Director of Kotak Mahindra Asset Management Company Limited. Hi Nilesh, and this is a topic that I think is very interesting, very exciting, and we want to learn from your experience because you literally look for these innovation and these new age companies day in and day out.
Technology comes quite easy to a younger generation. People from my generation will have to work really hard to figure out how technology works. But as an investor, we don't have a choice. Yeah. You make money when you invest for future. You don't make money looking at the past.
Absolutely. But I think before we talk about what will happen next in the market or which are the companies that could be those long-term wealth creators, let's talk about so far what the market has done. As an investor, I'm sure everybody watching is very happy because markets have done extremely well. We've seen Pharma, IT, all these traditional sectors back in 08, 09, then FMCG led the gains. According to you, what has helped the markets move so high?
So, as a childhood, my favorite movie was Amar Akbar Anthony. It became a blockbuster hit because of the three characters. Our market is a blockbuster hit because of three characters. First is fundamentals. In last 5 years, corporate India's profit has moved from about 4 lakh crore to about 15 lakh crore. The second is sentiment. It's very difficult to find someone who is negative on India, as India has moved from 10th largest economy to 5th largest economy, and even our critics accept that we'll become third largest economy before the end of this decade. The third is liquidity. Local investors have been investing, foreign investors have been occasionally buying, occasionally selling. Now, the trio of Amar Akbar Anthony made the movie hit. Trio of fundamental sentiment and liquidity is making our market blockbuster hit.
Well said. So now that journey from fifth largest economy to third largest economy, obviously fundamentals will have to be strong. What are those industries that could help India grow? And I want to take in your opinion, especially from the new age businesses point of view. I know you said that maybe for a younger person, innovation comes more easily, but one cannot deny that you have this wealth of experience. You have seen in the last 20 years what has worked, what has not worked. So in what way do you think these new age businesses, innovative businesses will help this?
So one, if we divide the world in two parts, dinosaur versus innovator or disruptor, there's no prize for guessing which one will carry forward. Companies which are disrupting their business model and which are innovating ways to create disruption in the market over a period of time are likely to emerge winner, and in turn they will lift the economy. For example, if you look at stockbroking, At one point of time, it was physical ring. Then it migrated to electronic trading. And then eventually it migrated to digital trading. Now, the stalwarts of physical ring era, if they didn't innovate, didn't survive in electronic trading. The role of jobbers disappeared. People who were big in electronic trading didn't adopt to digitization, ended up losing their opportunity. So essentially, any company which is innovating, which is disrupting, which is creating more efficiency, which is expanding market, which is making product or services competitive, they will carry the wealth creation forward as they will become part of larger and larger economy.
You know, some words that you threw out in this last answer, there was digitization, innovation, of course, technology. So you cannot say new age businesses without using the word technology. But today, technology is not just your simple IT services and IT products. It's a very large umbrella. So for the benefit of everybody who is watching, what, according to you, now comes under that umbrella of IT?
So let's keep the one big umbrella of innovation. When Aravind Eye delivers eye surgery at a success rate better than Western hospitals, at a cost which is a fraction of Western world cost, and at a speed which is far better than any other peer group, that's innovation, that's use of technology. It doesn't mean that everything is done by robots. It is still done by human beings, but there is technology leveraged into it. When there is a company which is mixing alloys and creating metal which is needed for fifth generation turbine manufacturing, that's innovation. Even when an explosive company makes an explosive which is twice the strength of TNT, that's innovation. So all I am saying is that innovation is the umbrella. Within that, some people will use technology, some people will use, process engineering, some people will use something else. We have seen even in a, large serving place like Langar, earlier everything was manual. Now there are lot many automation into it. Even that is innovation where you can handle so much of traffic, so much of people.
Yeah, yeah, well said. You know, through this podcast, we've always tried to provide that knowledge to investors that if you have to look for opportunities, what is it that you can catch? And I think by giving all these examples, you've not necessarily tried to stylize it, but given very practical applications, which when investors will look for that next opportunity, they will as well be able to apply the same thought process. But I must ask you, because you cannot say technology without artificial intelligence. Everybody today is, using it, is being affected by it in one way or the other. If I have to look at it from our investable basket of Indian companies or Indian stocks, do you think there are investment cases for the ordinary Indian investor to be able to create wealth for themselves via AI?
So undoubtedly, yes. A person wearing Iron Man suit and fighting is likely to outperform a person without one. Human will still be required, but a human leveraging artificial intelligence will be far more productive, far more competitive vis-a-vis someone who is not. Now, if we look at companies, I think everyone is going to leverage AI. I have to leverage more than my competitor. Now, there are certain aspects of technology where India will not be able to leapfrog. For example, China today has created an humanoid which is able to lift 30 kg in one hand. I don't think so. We are yet there to create that kind of humanoids or robots. But Indians are known for precision engineering. Can my precision engineering companies, auto component companies, be the preferred supplier of robotics parts to the world? if we read transcripts of companies like Google, Tesla, Microsoft, they are all saying large part of their incremental revenue will come from robotics. I today don't have ability to make robots as competitive as the world. But can I be the preferred supplier of components that itself will be hundreds of billions of dollar opportunity? So we'll have to leverage AI to use in those areas where we have strength and then try to catch the bandwagon so that we become part of this innovation or technology ride.
Do you think our Indian IT companies are expanding their offerings to be able to provide these AI-related technologies?
Undoubtedly, every single IT company we have met, they are talking about leveraging AI. It's going to be a transition which our banking industry has done. For example, there was a time when you enter a bank, there were typewriters, there was those calculators with rolls, and the ledgers were so big. Updating passbook was like a one-day job. And then computers came. And well, our banking industry transited seamlessly. There were naysayers who were saying that no, computerization should not be permitted in bank, it will result into job losses. We have realized that with technology adoption, banking jobs have in fact gone higher. Banking balance sheets have gone higher and banks have made more money and the economy has benefited. So all the technology companies in India are leveraging AI to deliver better, cheaper, faster solution to their clients. Our competition is also vis-a-vis peers, and we'll have to do a better job than our peers.
I think I'm pretty sure that most of our viewers watching as well must be thinking, when was the last time we visited a bank, right? All of our transactions now are conducted online. But since you gave the example of banking, I think the most natural transition is into FinTech, because that's one area where India is growing leaps and bounds. Our UPI infrastructure is like an inspiration for many countries. What sort of prospects do you see for the Indian FinTech industry?
So essentially, when you look at India, there are three subsets. 1% of Indians living lifestyle of a developed nation. Their per capita income, GDP, is equivalent to developed nation. About 30% are living lifestyle of a middle income nation. And about 70% are below sub-Saharan Africa levels. Now we are creating solution for all three of them. Some of my fintechs will be able to cater to developed worlds, some will cater to middle income nation, and some will cater to lower income nation. Second, the scale at which we are doing things, well, all of our states are equivalent to population of many countries. So the scale we are getting is truly amazing. And the third and the most important thing is characteristics of Indian buyers. As that famous advertisement go, kitna deti hai. We are cost conscious people. And hence our fintechs will have to deliver a solution which is not only the best in the world, but it is also value for money or cheapest. Now in this Agni Pariksha, whichever startup comes, for them world will become their marketplace. World will become their playground. And we need to create that kind of vision in our entrepreneurs and also facilitate them that they don't create solutions for India, they create for the world. We have seen in sports like chess, javelin throw, some of the para-Olympic sports, India is gold medalist, India is world champion. Cricket, obviously. We need to inculcate same aspirations in our entrepreneurs that don't just look at India, look at the world as your playground. And over a period of time, I have no doubt in my mind, like what we did in chess, dominating both men and women games, there will be many entrepreneurs of India which will deliver solution for the entire world.
FinTech is that one industry, I think, that we see the presence of local entrepreneurs and brands, Indian brands really dominating, as opposed to your usual foreign brands and MNCs coming in and then, trying to play into the fintech market. I think that's also a very positive sign, because we understand our market.
Undoubtedly. I think it's the entrepreneurs who know the problem. And we have seen Paytm getting launched in Japan as a payment solution system because they had an investor who was dominant in Japan. We'll have to leverage external investments in a manner where they open up opportunity in their home country for our fintechs. It requires mindset change at the entrepreneur level. It requires facilitative support at the regulatory level. And it also requires a kind of vision to be executed in the global market, so that investor also gets confidence that if I replicate this, it's going to actually become multi-bagger for me.
And today we have how many fintechs running into probably thousands?
So today, unlike in the past where Indian talent used to go abroad for opportunity from the best of engineering college and management institute, and that's how we see Satya Nadella running Microsoft, Sundar Pichai running Google, because our talent was going out. Today, many talented people are staying back to becoming an entrepreneur. Second, those talent in the past had no access to capital unless until their parents funded. Today, if you have business idea, there is access to capital in private equity, venture capital fund. And most importantly, now India has built infrastructure which is making India competitive and productive to the rest of the world. This trio of talent, capital and infrastructure, supported by facilitative regulatory regime, can unleash our startups' potential where world becomes their playground.
Yeah, there are so many now government-sponsored startup funds as well to encourage entrepreneurship at the grassroots level. There's another area where innovation is coming out very strongly, electronic vehicles. It's been around for the last 10 years, but the last 3-4 years, the pace at which different companies are entering this market has increased. Just like we have in regular autos, there's auto and auto ancillaries. In EVs, there are a lot more moving parts. Are there any investable opportunities in EVs for Indians?
So in the automotive space, I think as an investor, we would like to keep our options open. Today, there is fossil fuel or ICE engines. Then there is electric vehicle. Then there is hybrid vehicle. Then there is hydrogen fuel cell. Now, which of this technology will work? God only knows. Of course, governments giving incentive will influence adoption of technology. But at the end of the day, government subsidy alone cannot make people buy a particular technology. People will go towards what is most convenient. So as an investor, my recommendation is don't take very strong position. Diversify your portfolio across emerging technology, hydrogen fuel or green hydrogen, electric, hybrid, and fossil fuel. See how the market is evolving and then build your positions around it. I will call it monkey to gorilla to King Kong strategy. At the initial stage, have lots of monkeys. Then some of them will grow to become gorilla. Keep on feeding them. And then one of them will grow to become King Kong. Give more food to it. And then go to the rest of the world and say, look, when this monkey was so small, I started rearing it and today it has become a King Kong. Don't talk about other monkeys.
On a separate note, do you drive an EV?
Unfortunately for me, I have to wait for automatic driving. I don't even know driving. My wife is a car rally driver and I balance her out by ensuring that I don't drive.
So overall, the Shah household is a well-diversified portfolio.
Absolutely.
All right, okay. When it comes to EVs, the first thought also comes in mind that it's a sustainable investment. Power generation, I think that is I consider it as the genesis of EVs, because if your source of power is going to be from fossil fuels, then even if you're driving an EV in the city, honestly, the net result is still going to be that of carbon emissions. So, what are the strides you think India is making in that direction?
So we remain one of the lowest per capita carbon emitter in the world. I don't think so. We have highlighted this often. World has grown by destroying environment. India is growing by destroying less environment. And there was a Montreal Accord which resulted in Western world giving technology and money to developing world so that ozone depleting gases like CFC gases can be eliminated. That succeeded, and today ozone layer is repaired. We must have New Delhi Accord which ensures that the countries which have destroyed environment by emitting much higher per capita carbon compensates through technology and money to developing nations like us so that we can adopt renewable energy, we can adopt power sources which are not destroying environment. Long back, you would have seen a Spider-Man movie where there was Dr. Octopus having steel hands behind, and he was trying to create sun. In the movie, he ended up creating sun, but he was worried that this will destroy the whole world. So he went down sinking in the river. In California laboratory, they have already created a sun which gives more energy than what it consumes. Now that technology should be available to entire humankind. So we need a New Delhi Accord which allows technology transfer so that this planet still remains hospitable.
Now, California had to create a sun, but India is, of course, blessed with plentiful sunshine. Still, we rely on coal for our power needs. Do you see India changing gears, moving more towards solar, wind, and other renewable sources?
Undoubtedly, government's focus is on renewable energy. And in the past, despite sun, we couldn't adopt renewable energy like solar because the cost was prohibitive. Now cost has come down, cost of not only producing solar energy but also storing. The biggest challenge for us is that the sun is normally available and land is normally available at a place which is away from consumption of power. And hence you need transportation or transmission and storage. Both costs have to come down to make it commercially viable. I was just sitting with NTPC management and they said today storage as well as power generation on solar has become commercially competitive. And as we continue to build scale, we'll continue to see decline even further. So government is pushing it. And even for individuals, like that solar roof system will be very, very beneficial.
One last area of innovation that I see, PharmaTech. You briefly gave an example about a surgery that took place in India. We've so far been the factory of medicines for the world. But do you see us now becoming the laboratories or investing more in R&D to progress on technology and pharmaceutical?
So undoubtedly, PharmaTech is the future. The world is aging and the cost of medicine is going up, cost of treatment is going up. Today in most parts of the world, Indian nurses are given red carpet because they are facing serious shortage of staff and nurses. In my opinion, India can provide solution to an aging world like we provided solution on technology when Y2K came, because we have qualified doctors, nurses, hospitals, and most importantly, very, very effective cost. Now, like our technology, which is onshore as well as offshore, we'll have to create same model. Hospitals over here and maybe outdoor patient clinic in those countries. Those countries will also have to support. For example, in UK, Insurance policy covers treatment within European Union, which includes Turkey. Why not include India? A root canal takes about 1,500 to 2,000 pounds in London, and you have to wait for 6 months sometimes. You come over here, in 24-hour root canal can be done, and the cost will be probably 150 pounds or 200 pounds. At 10% cost, you will be able to get faster, quicker, better treatment. So by creating onshore and offshore model, by facilitating insurance acceptance, by creating specialized, let's say, in the airport hospital kind of things where you can quickly turn around. So lots of things can come together, but will Indian farm tech be needed by an aging world to provide quality Medicare at affordable cost and in a timely manner? I have no doubt in my mind that that is the need of the hour. We'll have to do it not for us, but for the betterment of the world.
As an average Indian investor, I want to put my money in all of these businesses because that's where, wealth creation will happen for me. But most of these companies are private. So you have, your private equity funds and VCs, etc., who've already invested, they are making money. As these companies slowly start listing, do you see more and more such opportunities coming up for Indian investors?
Undoubtedly, yes. Many of these private equity venture capital funded companies will come out in the market. Private equity venture capital takes much higher risk. Compared to them, public market investor takes much lower risk, and hence the returns will be lower. But as an investor, you have choice. You can invest in private equity venture capital fund. You can invest in fund of fund which invest into private equity venture capital funds. You can even directly invest into such stocks through angel networks and VC circle. You can invest via public market through mutual funds. My only recommendation to investors will be, in the new age businesses, casualties will be very, very high. This is a business where winner takes it all. For every Swiggy, Zomato dominating food delivery chains, there will be hundreds of other companies which would have crashed. So, one, be aware that this investment is carrying little higher risk than normal market. Second, winner takes it all. So you have to bet big on a monkey which is going to become King Kong. Third, to succeed in a competitive world, you will require access to capital. If your investing company does not have access to capital, they are unlikely to survive. Feeding monkey to become gorilla and gorilla to become King Kong is extremely important. And finally, don't forget that new age company or old age company, they still have to make profit. The path to profitability should be visible. If you can manage all this on your own, please go ahead and invest directly. If not, then there are mutual funds available to you.
We have some viewer questions because this is a show where we like our viewers to personally interact with you as well, and they wait for such opportunities. So very quickly, I'm just going to take one or two questions. Apurva asks that as data is becoming more accessible and accurate, we have strong AI models as well. Do you think investments which are AI driven could also outperform the conventional fund manager?
Apurva, there is a strong possibility that AI-driven models will outperform fund managers. But I will put my money on fund managers leveraging AI to outperform even AI, at least in the medium term. For a while, Gary Kasparov could defeat Deep Blue. Eventually, Deep Blue became undefeatable. So at least in the medium term, I will bet on human leveraging AI intelligence, but eventually we'll all surrender to the mighty AI.
Fair enough. Abhishek is asking that despite creating a market for EV, what is the adoption looking like?
So one, EV requires charging infrastructure. EV requires sustainability beyond subsidy. In both these parameters, we are lagging behind. Today, EV adoption is low because one, there is capacity constraint. Second, there is charging infrastructure limitation. Third, there is limited budget with government to provide subsidy. Unless until we can resolve this troika, I think the future is likely to remain balanced between fossil fuel car on one side, but with declining rates, and EV, hybrid, hydrogen going up, but on a calibrated manner.
All right. One last question. Deepika is asking, considering potential geopolitical tensions or shifts, how can investors position their portfolios to mitigate risks and capitalize on opportunities?
Deepika, the best way to mitigate geopolitical risk is to diversify your investment across various continents and segments. You can achieve that by going directly into those kind of stocks and funds, or you can, invest via mutual fund schemes, which in turn can go and do the diversification on your behalf. As of today, since Indian market is looking so good, a lot of people have not gone for diversification, and that call has worked out over the last 25 years. But my feeling is that as geopolitical risk increases, up to 10 to 15% of your portfolio should be invested in territories, geography, which is beyond India. Direct stocks, mutual funds, and fund of funds will all be appropriate vehicles to do it.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. A very insightful one, as always. Thank you so much, Nilesh. And who knows, maybe episode 3 will be done using some different kind of technology. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope it inspires you to find your next big investment. If you'd like to ask Nilesh Shah any questions, put them down in the comment box below this video. We'll be back with yet another episode of Investments Ki Baatein with Nilesh Shah very soon. Until then, goodbye and happy investing.